A few years ago, people from the high school I'd gone to got together. Well, actually, this guy, he owned the pharmacy. They started this thing called the Old Geezer Network, which made you feel really great. But anyhow, everybody started writing in and communicating and talking who'd gone to this school. And many of us, like I graduated in the 60s. So, like, we were in grade school in the 1950s, I guess. So, anyway, I'm going to tell you about something that happened. Um, when I was a kid, about 9 or so, maybe, I don't know, we went to a dentist, and this dentist hypnotized people. Nobody at school believed me, but it's true. He really, really did. It didn't work on me, though. But anyway, I listened to everything he said, and I could hypnotize people. So, what the dentist did, you get in the chair, he'd have you close your eyes, and he would do this thing where he said, "When you see the shadow of my hand pass in front of your eyes," and you could, for some reason, maybe because there was a big window there, you're going to become more and more relaxed. You're going to become sleepy. Now I'm going to count from 1 to 10. 1, you're getting very relaxed, very tired. 2, etc., etc., etc. By the time you got down to 10, you were supposed to be out of it. And it, like I say, it didn't work on me. But anyway, and then the guy would put his finger in your mouth and say, "I'm rubbing and it's getting numb. You're not going to feel anything here. You're not going to feel anything here." Well, at that point, I usually had, and I looked at, and there's this big needle. So anyhow, I said, "Just give me the needle. Let's not do this hypno thing." So, but I remembered everything he said. So what happened was my first try was my poor mom, and we were watching back in the 50s. There was a lot of it was summer vacation, and there was daytime TV. And so I was sitting next to my mother on the couch, and we had just watched a TV show from the 50s. And so I said, "Hey, Mom, let me try to hypnotize you." And she said, "Okay." So I did the thing with my mother. I had her close her eyes, and the whole 9 yards. Oh no, it starts with 1, 2, 3. And then when you were getting ready to bring the person up and out, you would go, "I'm going to now count from 10 to 1. You count backwards, and you're coming up. And then you always tell them you're going to be relaxed, you're going to be refreshed, you're not going to remember anything unpleasant. And when I clap my hands, you'll be awake." So my mom was sitting there on the couch, and I did all that, and she was not talking, and her eyes were closed. And so I started rubbing her arm and saying, "The more I rub, the more I rub, you're not going to feel anything. You won't feel anything there at all. And it's all numb." So then what I did is I squeezed it, right? To see if she's faking. And I squeezed it and squeezed it, and I really squeezed it hard. And then I stopped because I was getting a little worried, that a normal person would have been screaming by that time. So I brought my mother up, back into the room, said all that stuff about, and I clapped my hands, and she opened her eyes. And I said, "Did you feel anything?" She goes, "No." And then she glanced down at her arm, and she said, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And I said, "Well, I squeezed your arm." And I said, "I'm sorry." And she goes, "Well, don't you ever do this to anybody else, because you could really, really hurt someone." Well, when I heard that and realized that I had the ability to hypnotize someone, I was just thrilled, because I was only, I don't know, 9 or something. And well, it made me feel like maybe I would have a brilliant career. So the next incident was my poor younger brother, Brian. And Brian and I were in the front room, living room, and we had this footstool. Anyway, the footstool was, my mother went through this thing where she wanted, we had this really nice old fashioned furniture and all this in the 50s, you know, that modern furniture stuff. So this thing was like square and it had metal legs. And so Brian's on there and I say to him, okay. And I do the whole routine about, you know, the hand moving in front of your eyes are closed and you just see the shadow of your hand. And then you go, you know, the whole 9 yards, 1, 2, down, 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 down. And then, you know, and I said, okay. I said, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. And I said, all right, you are on a boat and you're in the middle of a very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lake. And you're rowing and you're having such a good time. Everything is so beautiful, gorgeous day. The breeze, the sun, sparkling on the water, and he's rowing. I said, you're so happy, you're so relaxed. And then I said, yeah, I was sort of mean, I guess, to him. Well, anyway, I said, now a big fish is coming. A big fish is coming. It's coming straight at you. It's coming straight at you right now. It's so big, it's so big. His mouth is wide open, wide open. And he starts rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing. And he's rowing so hard that the footstool just started to go boom, 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 boom on the floor. And my mother was in the kitchen and she yelled in, what are you guys doing in there? And I said, oh, nothing, nothing, nothing. And Brian, by this time, looked so horrified, and he was actually making whimpering sounds, you know? So I said, okay, everything's fine. The fish is gone. Everything is calmed down. You're safe. Everything is good. You can relax now. And then I did the whole, you know, the whole thing. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. You're not going to remember anything. You're going to wake up refreshed, clap my hands. And it's just as I clap my hands, my mother steps in the doorway and she said, what's going on in here? And my brother looked at me and he said, I don't know. I felt, oh yeah, I really did. I really felt bad about that because he was scared shitless. Anyway, I also had this thought, if those had been real oars, he would have gone straight through the living room wall onto the porch. It was really bad. So I left Brian alone after that, poor kid. And then the last story in the hypnosis saga is there was this kid, well, I was on the school bus. We rode on the school bus because we lived out in the country. And one day, you know, I told Scotty, this kid, that I could hypnotize people. And he said, you're lying. You can't do that. You know, I said, no, I'm not. I can really, really do this. And he goes, no. And he goes, well, prove it. And I said, okay. So he sat down and I did my thing, you know. I must have had a soothing voice at times. But anyhow, lo and behold, you know, the one, down, down, you're relaxing. Everything is fine. You just let your body relax. Down, down. And I get down to 10. Okay. And now I said, Scotty, you are a chicken. You are a big, white, beautiful chicken. Gorgeous feathers. And now you're going to stand up and you're going to walk up the aisle of the bus and you're going to cluck. And he did. And he walked up and he was clucking. And he was even sort of walking like a chicken, like this. You know what I mean? His arms. And then our bus driver, Bernard Schramm, he's a nice man. But you didn't mess with Bernard because to us, he looked about 8 feet tall. But Bernard looked in the mirror and he goes, what's going on back there? And Scotty, of course, didn't respond to Bernard, so I had to get Scotty back in his seat and talk him down. And I look back on it, and I think it would have been better if I had kept him in his seat and had him lay an egg. That would have been really good. But anyway, so Scotty, I'm going to count from 10 to 1 backwards, and you're going to come up. You're going to be very relaxed. Everything is fine. And you're not going to remember anything about what happened. It was over. I got a little nervous when he was going up and down the aisle because when We're not supposed to stand up and walk on the bus. But anyhow, and he was clucking. So I noticed when Scotty got off the bus, his younger brother ran like hell towards the house. Really did. And I even had a sort of a feeling like, ooh. So that was, I don't know, Well, the next day, when I got on the bus, I noticed that Scotty was very quiet and sat far away from me. And I went to school, and it was like a normal school day, whatever. But when I got home, my mom was waiting for me, and she said, Carol, Mr. Morton called today. And Mr. Morton was our principal. And I said, he did? And she goes, yeah. And I said, why? And she goes, well, Scotty's mother of the chicken boy, called the school today and complained about what you did to Scotty on the bus yesterday. Oh my God. Oh, whatever. In a way, I felt like a star. I mean, how many 9-year-olds can convince somebody they're a chicken and have them go clucking and chicken walking up and down the aisle of the bus? I felt so powerful. But at the same time, I realized that if the principal was calling, I had to quit, because I was busted. And I got really nervous because, well, I didn't get in any trouble, but my mother said, you cannot do this anymore, Carol. You can't. And I just thought, what a shame. I have all this talent and nowhere for it to go. So those are my stories about hypnosis during the 1950s and my experiences with hypnotizing people. I did hypnotize some girlfriends at pajama parties, but I don't remember much about that. So that's all I have to say now. Good night.